Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and I've got another speed deck for you, and this one's going to do something that I personally haven't done since I think it was in Spooktober. I did a Mayakashi deck for the Master Class version of this game, and with that, the whole point was actually attacking the opponent's deck, because one of the lesser-known ways to win is your opponent has a draw effect, or it's during the draw phase and there are no cards left in the deck to draw. That actually counts as a win. So I wanted to see whether or not we could do this in Speed Duel. I was trying to hold off to wait for the cards to come in, but normally I'd get the Speed Duel on Tuesday. It's Wednesday. I want to get this out to you guys, and I'm going to stop talking about that and just tell you that there's two cards flipped around. So let's get you guys a deck list. So I wanted to use Seto Kaiba's skill this time, and we're going to be using the Viral Infection skill. And this is essentially going to be like a markup on Vampire Lord's effect, and I'll go over this after the list. The main deck is actually 22 cards. I did not build an extra deck. If you want an extra deck, throw some fusions together, maybe throw some Waking the Dragons into the sideboard. I also didn't build a sideboard this week. I just really wanted to focus on the main deck portion, so I'm going to be using 3 copies of Bloodsucker. I've got 2 copies of Breaker the Magical Warrior. The card I'm missing 2 copies for is Dawn Zalug. Yep, no help in that. I am running the single copy of Vampire Lord, and that's going to round out our monsters. For the spells, I do have the 1 copy Allure of Darkness. I'm going to be using 3 copies of the spell Bashing Shield. 2 copies of Book of Moon, and a single copy of Reinforcement of the Army. If I was playing more warriors than just Dawn Zalug, I might consider increasing this. But for now, no. Just going to keep going. And I'm going to be using 6 traps. So we're going to start with 2 copies of Assault on Goblin Headquarters, or GHQ. 2 copies Continuous Trap Robbing Zombie. And then last 2 are going to be 2 copies of Zoma the Spirit. So if that was all that you came here for, if all you wanted was the Speed Duel deck of the week or the Speed Duel content for this week, then I want to take this moment and just thank you very much for stopping by. If this has helped you and you aren't already, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button. Definitely let your friends know about it if you've been enjoying it. No need to keep it a secret. And you guys just have a great day. So class totally dismissed for you guys. Got you in and out in just under 3 minutes. You guys have a lovely day. Everybody else, let's go ahead and discuss the finer points of this. And maybe I've got my app over here, so we'll throw some test draws around. So going off with the skill Viral Infection, like I said, this is really just like a selectable plus version of Vampire Lord. Once per turn, you can discard any number of cards in your hand and declare 1 type of card, be it monster, spell, or trap. Your opponent then sends 1 card of the declared type from their deck to the graveyard for every card you discarded for this cost. If you do this, flip this card over. Again, we can use this every turn. We're not going to use this too often, but I did want it because it is going to further our effects. Now, you could also play Inner Conflict. Sorry that took so long for me to remember. And again, Inner Conflict is really going to help you with trying to get through. And if you were doing this to win games instead of just trying to play the fashion and play along with the aesthetic for the casual matches, then you could absolutely just socket your Inner Conflict here, and then you just take 2 cards out of the main deck. So let's go ahead and put Kaiba up there. Bloodsucker, very generic effect here. If it inflicts battle damage to the opponent, send a top card of their deck to the discard pile. He's going to help us with the battle variation, and again with Bashing Shields, he's going to be more relevant. 3 copies him. Breaker, we just need him for back row destabilization, and again with a Bashing Shield, we can reach between 26 and 29, depending on if we still have the token, or the counter, sorry. And of course, it's going to help us with back row while keeping the dark attribute. Remember, that was 3 darks here. This is another 2 darks. Dawn Zalug is going to be dark, so that's another 3. So, 3, 2, 5, 8, 9 monsters altogether. The whole main deck is dark. And with this guy, he's going to have 2 great effects for us, and that's why his price was so high at the beginning. It's still kind of high. but it was the right time to invest. And honestly, they just haven't come yet. So proxies. Anyway, Dawn Zalug. When it inflicts battle damage to the opponent, you get to choose one of the following effects. You either get to rip one random card from their hand or flip 2 from the top of their deck to the discard pile. He is the main point. He's the reason that Reinforcement of the Army is even in the deck. Again, if your opponent only has the 1 card in hand and you've got a better board position, you might choose to take that. Otherwise, we want to take the deck. We want to try to limit how many cards they're going to have. So again, you want to maximize that at 3. And then there's Vampire Lord, and this is going to be the battle variation of our Viral Infection. So when this inflicts battle damage to the opponent, declare 1 type of card, again, monster, spell, or trap. The user sends 1 from the deck to the discard. Once per turn during the next standby phase after this card in your possession was destroyed and sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect. And that's important. It's got to be an effect. It can't be by battle. Then you could special summon this back from the graveyard. Generically, we're usually going to normal summon him if we see him. And again, this is going to put him as the best boss monster because, again, Bashing Shield will get him up to 3,000. Of course, once his effect has been used once to resurrect him, Bashing Shield is off the table. And again, that's another great reason for the Viral Infection because at that point, anything that's dead in our hand, it still lets us attack our opponent's deck. I was using the single Allure of Darkness. Again, I got this deck up to 22 cards. So a draw 2 seemed appropriate to put in there. I didn't want to maximize this because there were times when I was doing the test hands that I just would not draw any monsters. And I still could have played out of it, but again, you'll see. 3 Bashing Shields, again, equipped to a normal summoned or set monster. It gains 1,000 attack points, and you take no battle damage from attacks involving it. So still very good. It's still going to let all of our characters become more viable. I am running 2 Books of Moon. Now, I kind of went back and forth on this one. I almost wanted to put Adhesion Trap Holes since a lot of my monsters' effects are only when they deal battle damage. But I gotta respect the fact that Jinzo is still super popular, that there's a trap card that can play Jinzo. And of course, he's at 3 right now. So I had to take all that into account, and I had to go with the Books of Moon first. So 2 Books of Moon. You do have the single reinforcement. Again, add a level 4 lower warrior. In this case, this is add Dawn Zalug to your hand. It's Assault on Goblin Headquarters. Flip this up, target a monster you control, destroy your monster, send 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck to the graveyard. And again, this gets better if you're playing Inner Conflict because, again, you don't have to get the monster back. You could get the attacks and then still flip your trap and then still take cards from their deck, which is great. Robin Zombie. Anytime your monster will inflict battle damage to the opponent, you get to send the top card of their deck to the graveyard. This essentially gives every one of your monsters, including Breaker, the ability to rip cards or rip more cards. And again, since we want to take the opponent's deck, that's what we want to do. And we are running 2 Zomas in here because we can't forget that Inner Conflict is and will be used against us. And again, still summons up as a defense position effect monster. 18 by 5, and while it's summoned this way and destroyed by battle, inflict damage to the opponent equal to the attack the monster had that destroyed it. So again, once they use Inner Conflict, anything that's generally 2,000 or more is going to equal a game in your favor. And of course, you just can't think that things like that or the Parasite Paranoid deck I just profiled for you guys last week. Again, thank you, Joe, for lending those. That was amazing. And also, a happy birthday to Joe's son, Ashton. Happy birthday, buddy. I know it's a little late, and I know that you said that you've never heard your name on a YouTube video. I just wanted to throw that out there. Happy birthday, Ashton. Everybody, if you guys want to wish him a happy birthday, do that down in the comments section. I'm sure Joe will show him, and it'll be awesome. Let's do a couple test hands with the application here real quick. So again, like, here's test hand number 1, 2 Books of Moon, Robin Zombie, Dawn Zalug. That's not terrible. If we draw 1, we'd get another Dawn Zalug. Test hand 2, we got Allure, Book of Moon, Donnie Z, Vampire Lord. Again, going first, this isn't terrible. We do have a draw 2. We could probably just get rid of the Vampire Lord as it stands. If we do draw the 2, we get Assault on Goblin Headquarters and our Bashing Shield, which means Dawn Zalug is now a 2,400 with Book of Moon to back him up. And if we had gone second, We would also have the spell card Reinforcement of the Army in our hand at the end of that whole exchange. Sorry that this just keeps... Yeah, that's not going to angle proper. Let's try this. So that's okay. Let's do one more maybe. Okay, so we got Bloodsucker, Lure of Darkness, Zoma, and Robin Zombie if going first. If going second, have the Goblin Headquarters. If first with the Lure of Darkness, we'd also have Bashing Shield, would have to remove Zombie. If went second and activated that, we would have Breaker in our hand as well, allowing us to either banish the Breaker if we wanted to get the Bloodsucker on the field to get him to work. And again, with that Robin Zombie, we would then be able to start ripping 2 cards at a time. Very cool stuff. One more, just one more. Robin Zombie Breaker, Zoma, Reinforcement. Again, this means that we have Don Zalug from the beginning. Puts him in kind of a precarious setup. You might just go a double back row with Breaker if going first. If going second, you get the Allure. You're already guaranteed Don Zalug, so you'll play the Allure first. Get a Don Zalug, get a Bloodsucker, and then make your choices from here, my friends. All very cool stuff. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this. Again, if you have, do all the things if you like. But definitely do me one favor. Have a great day. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Later, guys.